You're listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. You can follow along in your book. You'll know it's time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this.
Oh, Frederick, are you all right?
Yes. Would you excuse me for 1 minute, dear?
Oh, of course, Doctor.
Igor? May I speak to you for a moment?
Of course.
Sit down, won't you?
Thank you.
No, up here.
Oh, thank you.
Now, that brain that you gave me, was it Hans Delbrooks?
No.
Good. Would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in?
And you won't be angry?
I will not be angry.
Abby someone.
Abby someone. Abby who?
Abby normal.
Hello, welcome to the Awkward High Five podcast. Awkwardhighfive at gmail.com is the email address. I'm Devin.
And I am Richie.
Are you having problems with your headphones?
I just got one ear going.
Really? That's weird.
It doesn't matter. The other ear is deaf anyway.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's cool.
You could do that cool thing that people do in the studio where they put one ear on and one ear off, like when you see singers of rock bands rocking out and they hold one on and one off.
All right, I'm going cool today. Fuck it.
So you could get the room sound. I don't know if that really makes much of a difference because I was a singer in a band and I recorded albums. You were there for most of them, for all of them, and I did do that. But I only did that because that's what I saw people do. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You know, so I don't know. I don't know if it works or not, but I don't know.
I think people do that to like talk to the public while they got their headphone on.
I think it's so that you could hear your through the headphones, but then you could also hear your voice like in the room, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, I don't want to hear either because my voice sucks.
Yeah, listening back now that we've been doing this podcast, it's always been a weird thing to like listening to myself singing. You know what I mean? Like, but that's kind of different because you're kind of putting on a voice anyway when you're singing. You know what I mean? Well, most people are not really making like a fake voice, like not doing like the Billy Joe all of a sudden I'm from England kind of thing. But like, you know, like it's you're projecting your voice, so it kind of changes. So you could kind of pretend that it's somebody else. But when you listen to yourself talk, and I've been listening to that a lot lately because I've been prepping these episodes to finally put them up. It's the first few minutes is always kind of like, oh God, do I sound like that shit?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's very, very, very weird. So speaking of that, we are slowly but surely getting this thing up and rocking. There is, I put all of the previous 10 episodes are now up on our SoundCloud. And now for anybody at home, that doesn't really mean anything because if you're listening to this already, you've probably found it through there. But at this point right now, we're on SoundCloud and we are waiting for iTunes to approve us, which who knows? We'll see if that happens or not because there is some there's some material on here. I don't know. And then I also
why did they edit?
No, they don't edit. But what they do is they actually have people on staff that listen to the podcast. I don't know if they do it. I don't know if they do it for every single one or not. You know, I really don't know. But they have real people that listen to it and listen for like things like if you didn't say that it was explicit language and there is explicit language, if there's copyrighted material and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So since we kind of teeter the line of some copyrighted material in here, I'm hoping that that's not a problem.
And what do they check to see if it offends anybody now?
No, I don't think that because as long as you say there's explicit language, then you could say whatever the fuck you fucking want. So,
Good.
Yeah. But the iTunes is on the way. SoundCloud is up and running. SoundCloud.com/awkward-high-five. All 10 episodes that we've done so far are on there. And then the website, if you go to the website right now, and anybody listening to this probably, isn't. I'm sorry, I got a text until it knocked me off. Fucking thing. It already knows this, and this is in the past or whatever. But our website is under construction. If you go to the website, which is awkwardhighfive.com right now, it just says coming soon, and it sends you to our SoundCloud site. But slowly but surely, everything's getting up. And I gave the sneak preview to a few of our friends and asked them to
nice
to give us opinions. Our one friend Tom, who's our close friend, he's basically run through all of them already. He texted me before. He's like, "I've been listening all day at work," and I was like, "What episode are you on?" And he was like, 9.
What do you think about it?
Well, it's hard to tell with friends. A better test group would be people that you don't know, because no one's going to be, if they don't like it, no one's going to actually say that,
Yeah, friends are going to be nice.
And Tom was texting me, and he was giving me what he called constructive criticism, but it was kind of on the nice side, you know what I mean? Like, oh, the rapport is good, and blah, 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 and you guys sound good with each other. And
but? Is there a but?
He said it sounds very professional.
Ooh.
Which is good, I guess.
I didn't think that would go into our repertoire.
Yeah, well, it gets better as the episodes go on. Now, since I've been listening to this, the first 2 episodes, there's like clipping going on, and it's like it's not EQ'd very well, and then it's a fucking work in progress.
Well, you're a genius with these machines now, so that's always a good thing.
I am learning. I don't know if I'd put myself at Val Kilmer real genius level or not.
Now, I know how to use a microphone, a headphone, and when I go home, I cook food in the microwave, so I'm moving up there. You're really good at those science ovens. I'm going to give you that. I'm getting up there.
Like, if I hand you a bag of popcorn and say, put this in the microwave, you fucking hit that popcorn button like there is no tomorrow.
Easy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because I am basically sitting here doing all the fucking work, and you're sitting at home just chilling out. I can't tell you how many things that I fucking edited, and we now have an intro and an outro, which is nice. I know you haven't heard it yet, and you're not going to hear it right now, but
better than that stupid song that you play of mine?
No. That's still our out song.
Damn.
I'm talking about like bookends, intro, and outros.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it's I tried to recreate, and I don't know if it's creative or whatever. It doesn't matter. But I tried to recreate those old Disney like record read along books, when it's like, and you could turn the page when you hear the chime sound like this, blah blah blah.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought we were thinking more, Henry Mancini, Elephant Walk.
Baby Elephant Walk?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not music. It's tags on either side of. I know this isn't a microwave, so stick with me here.
I'm sticking.
But so it's coming on in the beginning of the. If you're listening to this episode right now, you've already heard it. It sounds like a record player, and then a woman comes on and says, "You're listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. You can follow along in your book. Feel free to turn the page when it chimes or whatever."
I used to love those things.
I know. That's why I put it on. And then at the end, it says, "Thank you for listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. For more episodes, go to awkwardhighfivepodcast.com." It's pretty professional stuff, I think.
Very nice.
Got a voiceover artist to make it. Mm-hmm. So that's good. So yeah, we're coming along. We're actually becoming like a real deal thing. My brother listened to a couple episodes. He gave me a little feedback. He said that it sucks that nobody could call in live, but I mean, whatever. It's a podcast.
Yeah.
And he said that we are much more funny when we're riffing.
What does riff mean?
Well, like just off the cuff talking to each other.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I think that's the whole. I don't think there's ever been one point in this whole podcast that we weren't off the cuff riffing.
Yeah, seriously.
So I don't know.
All right. Well, one day, we'll set up these mics and we'll just riff away.
I mean, I think we're riffing right now.
Are we riffing?
We had a conversation before I hit record, and the conversation went like this: and what are we going to talk about? And you said, "I don't know," and I said, "Well, I don't know." And then and in my haste to go watch the World Series, I hit record.
Okay.
So
we're going to be talking like the Micro Machines guy. So
well, that's not going to make time go quicker.
Oh shit! I thought the
Earth was
going to spin faster. And
if we were going to talk like the Micro Machine guy, then we would actually have to fill more content because we'd be talking really quick in the hour. Yeah. So
damn. Fucking gravity.
I forgot all about that Micro Machines guy.
Yeah, well,
Imagine that. That is that dude's whole gig. He was just a fast talker guy, and then all of a sudden he got commercials for this toy, this like crazy toy in the 80s, and probably made a lot
AKA best video game ever made.
Right, we've touched on that already. But I mean, like, just talking fast like that was his career. It's very weird. I wonder if he was like an auctioneer or something like that.
I wonder now that he's old if he's probably like micro machines.
Like he's like, I will not. They're like, come on, like his grandkids are like, talk fast, Grandpa, and he's like, I will not talk fast.
He ran out of all of his speed.
I spent all my life talking fast. I'm going to enjoy my old age talking very slow.
All my life buying crystal meth, and it's going to stop now.
Yeah, who knows if that dude's even alive anymore?
Yeah, seriously.
He had like I could picture him though. Didn't he have like a mustache?
He did have a mustache.
Like the Keith Hernandez going on and shit like that. Mike Ritchie.
Yeah, way too quick to understand that, man.
It's thinking back at it from a marketing point of view, I don't know if that makes much sense to like why would you ever put somebody in your commercials that's just going to burn through words and that people aren't going to understand,
especially about little cars. What the hell does that have to do with it?
That's very weird. Remember at the end of commercials they used to have that thing though where like they did it on the radio a lot where they would read all the all the legal stuff really quick at the very end.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? So he's probably like one of those dudes.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Okay, 1 minute on the Micro Machines guy. We're really kicking it here.
And we're gonna bring it back to microwaves. No, I'm just kidding.
You love microwaves.
No, I'm just kidding.
I've been listening to these podcasts because, like I said, I've been editing them and cleaning them up and everything and putting them up. And you said something the other day. It might even have been the last one we did or two ones we did ago. That I listened to it. I've heard it a couple times through listening to it, and it bothers the hell out of me.
What is it?
We were talking about children's names.
Okay.
And you said that people are naming their children after Jax from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Is that true? Do you have proof of that?
I don't have dead proof of it, but I've noticed a lot of young Jacks out there.
Oh my god! Because every time I hear you even say that on this podcast, I get the worst douche chills.
Yeah.
On the face of the planet. Like, please, I implore you, anybody listening at home, if you have a child and you think it's cool to name him Jax after that stupid motorcycle show, please do not, because you will not know the error of your ways until 20 years from now.
Oh my god, you just made millions cry out there. Or the people listening, you've made tens of people cry out there.
Yeah. I watched Sons of Anarchy. I came to it late. People told me about it. My old roommate actually, from like years ago when it first started, was watching it and he said it was okay.
Did you like it?
Here's the thing. I liked it from a storytelling point of view.
Right.
It was cool. It could be related to any. So it's like a mob fucking show, but on motorcycles or whatever. But the people that watch that show and then think that it's a real fucking gang, you know what I mean? Like I see dudes like when I was working in the city, I would see dudes come in with like wearing Sons of Anarchy cuts, like actual, like, you know what I mean? Or at least like hoodies and shit like that.
What was their MC called? I forget. I know like Sam Crow, but I don't know what Sam Crow was. I always picture like the actual crow named Sam.
Whoa, check this out. Sorry, not to cut in on the very interesting Sons of Anarchy fucking dialogue they're having. But I just got an email. Dear podcast owner, your podcast located blah, blah, blah has been approved. You should expect to see it on iTunes store within the next few hours. When it's available, you'll be able to blah, blah, blah. We just got approved on iTunes.
All right, cool.
All right, so everybody listening, real time right now, what's happening right now is we're gonna, that's very cool.
So as of Friday the 29th?
Today is the 30th.
Really? It's Mischief Night?
It's Mischief Night. Tomorrow's Halloween.
Oh, great. So they're going to toilet paper our podcast.
We're fucked, yes.
Yeah.
If I had a car, there would be bologna all over it right now.
Still my favorite thing of all time.
Bananas in the tailpipe. No one's ever actually put a banana in the tailpipe, though.
Yeah, but bologna in the car, better than toilet paper, better than eggs, better than anything.
Well, before we get back on Mischief Night, let me finish my thing about Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
Here's the deal. They're not a real motorcycle gang. As a matter of fact, there are a bunch of Juilliard-trained actors. Half of them are probably homosexuals. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a better thing to being in a motorcycle gang. It's a very more interesting thing to being in a motorcycle gang. But like people like look at Jax was the English guy from Undeclared that drank kegs of beer with fucking...
That's right, with his flat top.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know if he had a flat top, but he had like, it's not real. Stop wearing Sons of Anarchy sweatshirts. Peggy fucking Bundy was on it. And
who looks better in that than she did when she was Peggy Bundy?
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, she's a little old, but she definitely looks better when she was
without
Peggy.
The red wig and all that stuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
But if you named your kid Jackson after Jax, aka the English guy from Undeclared, just please, years from now you're going to feel bad about that because you're going to realize it's a fucking TV show, and an okay TV show at that. So when people ask you years from now why you named your kid Jackson, tell them it was after Jackson Pollock or something. I don't know. Just make something up.
Yeah, they're gonna make something up.
But oof, man, if that would be like naming your kid Mork back in the 70s. You know what I mean?
Seriously, or in the 80s, Boners to the Bone.
Yeah, right. Or any of the, like, why would you do that? But it's extra douchey because people actually think that, like, feel that that's a real motorcycle gang.
And probably because chicks idolize that dude. So,
well, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know his name in real life.
It's Charlie Hunnam.
Charlie Hunnam.
Or Hunnam or something
okay.
like that. Yeah.
Charlie Hunnam. He's a very attractive guy. Don't get me wrong. Very attractive man. I understand why girls are attracted to him. Doesn't mean that he's actually the leader of a motorcycle gang then that makes people meet Mr. Mayhem. It's just not true. He probably has like more fucking him in like tights running around on stage videos than him beating people up in real life. You know what I mean?
No doubt. And again, on Sons of Anarchy, my favorite character of that whole show has to be the guy who created it. What is it? Kurt Sutter created
Kurt Sutter,
show?
who is actually married to Peggy Bundy in real life.
Is he really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who did The Shield. He wrote The Shield, and then he just wrote that Donnie Darko's a boxer movie. I don't know what that was called.
That dude is awesome. But in Sons of Anarchy, he's
the guy in jail.
In jail. Yeah. Best character of the whole.
He was the best
time.
character, the one who bites his own tongue off. Yeah, that's pretty
best
cool.
Character. I mean, he always got the short end of the stick. Poor Otto. But I love that character, Otto. He's the man.
I liked him. I liked I don't know any names, but the the crazy motorcycle guy who's into trannies and shit.
Oh, Tiggs?
Yeah, because he was like the comic relief.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty cool. I dug him. I liked the I guess I liked all the comic
guy
relief
with
guys.
no fingers.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Yeah. I like
Chucky.
all the funny guys.
And there was one more character I loved. What was his name? Give me a sec here.
What did he do?
I'm not sure if he was in the gang or not, but I don't know. Damn, I'll think of it.
What was his? It doesn't matter what his name is. What was his function on the show?
I can't even think of that.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I'll think of it.
Very memorable.
Because, he was a great character. I forget. Maybe I was thinking Chucky, but there was a great character in that show.
You know who I did not... You know who I didn't like on that show? But I think it was kind of because it was... maybe just because I know all his other characters.
I know who it is.
Who?
Opie.
Who's Opie?
His best friend.
Yeah. No, I mean, he
hated
came and went so quickly.
I hated
that... I like that story. See, I'm just making fun of the show now. We're like getting in depth on it.
No,
I like the storyline about how they shot his wife instead of his fucking blah blah and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he came and went very quickly. As a matter of fact, I think Opie might be he might be a small catalyst in the beard resurgence. Because people were always commenting on his beard when that show, and this was like 7 years ago, 6 years ago now, and so he might be the tiny. I don't know if any shoegaze kids in Brooklyn were watching Sons of Anarchy, but there are some people out there that probably grew a beard because of Opie's character.
I always blame Duck Dynasty for the whole beard thing, but I remember what I wanted to say about Sons of Anarchy. Not sure if you remember this, but Clay, the original president of Sons of Anarchy.
Hellboy, yeah.
Yeah. He would always visit a guy in jail to get advice from him. He was an old MC member that he would get advice from in jail. He had the talk button because he had throat cancer, and he would visit him in jail. He was actually the original president of either the Hells Angels or the Pagans. I don't know.
So he was like a real motorcycle guy?
He was a real motorcycle guy, and he was in the show, and he would go visit him in jail, and he would get advice from him. And I didn't figure that out until way later. You know, of course, I researched it.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah. But I thought that was really cool that they threw him in there.
What I was going to say, the guy that I didn't like, and it reminds me of another thing now, too. The guy that I didn't like is Jimmy, the cab driver. You know, Grounded for Life guy. He was like he for like a season he played some like agent that was after them.
That's right.
He's the one I think who actually ended up killing Otto or whatever, right? He kills somebody in jail or something like that.
Maybe, but that's the guy who Otto killed his sister with the crucifix.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's what it is. So he's like hell-bent for revenge. Yeah. But I just didn't, and I know that he's done serious work. I've never watched any of them. Like there was that one Terriers show or something like that. He's got like a career that kind of bounces around. And I know he's done serious work. I think he's in like a movie now. But just knowing him as the Jimmy the cab driver and then the father from Grounded for Life, watching him be all like hell-bent on revenge and serious, like just took me completely out of it. And then the worst thing, I think it was the last season, was fucking Marilyn Manson's fucking gizzard neck.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious because he just fed Juice Coke.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure Kurt, what's his name?
Kurt Sutter.
I'm sure in real life, Kurt Sutter is friends with Marilyn Manson.
Probably.
So that's why, and also Courtney Love. Courtney Love was another horrible thing in that.
Was she in that show?
Yeah, she played the teacher. Remember when Gemma fucking, which by the way, Gemma, horrible fucking name. Gemma came around to pick up the kids, and they didn't like get along. It might have been Gemma, or no, it might not have been Gemma. It might have been the chick from The Sopranos who was like the heroin whore. His
I
mean, whatever. Anyway, so Courtney Love was there in the last season. All of a sudden, Courtney Love's there, and all of a sudden, Marilyn Manson's there with his fucking turkey neck, and it was just very like. I'm sorry, I don't believe I can't see Marilyn Manson as like some like hardcore fucking prison murderer guy. You know what I mean? Like know, like he's
he's too smart for that.
Oh, he's like fucking Alice Cooper. He's just like a Broadway play. You know what I mean?
But seriously though, for those of you out there who don't know, Marilyn Manson is one of the smartest people. If you ever hear him speak, Marilyn Manson is one of the smartest people you'll ever hear speak in your life.
Oh, as far as being like a businessman goes?
Businessman, his ideas about life, just, what he knows about people and music. The man is intelligent.
Yeah, he definitely is, And I've always appreciated the type of dudes who you don't know. They keep their thing up so much that you don't really know who they are in real life. And then sometimes like stories of them will kind of creep through, like, so you'll hear like, oh well, actually in real life Marilyn Manson's kind of like like pretty straight laced and you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. Or another example is like Andrew WK. You know what I mean? People say that Andrew WK isn't really like that at all in real life.
He doesn't party hard.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Really?
Well, but his, or like just the dirty white T-shirt and jeans and the long hair and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But it's so ingrained in his character that you don't know who's right and who's wrong and stuff like that. I always like that ambiguous kind of thing.
Yeah, but it just makes me wish that he was that hard partier.
He might be. That's what I'm saying. You don't know. You hear people say that he isn't, but then you don't know, because anytime you've ever seen him, even like I've seen him in New York. He owns a club in New York.
Does he?
Yeah, and I've seen him on the streets, and I know people that have played music at his club, and it's not like he's only showing up as Andrew WK on stage. He's showing up as Andrew WK anytime he's in public. You know what I mean? Like no matter what. So you don't know, And I'm sure the same thing is with Marilyn Manson.
I'll never forget the first time we saw that video for Party Hard. I remember in the beginning it's all slow of him just walking out.
No, he's lacing up his boot.
Lacing up his high top Nikes, of course, that metalheads wear. And he's lacing up his high top Nikes with the band setting up in the background, and we were like, this guy's about to rock, because anyone who laces up high top Nikes is gonna rock. And then, of course, the song kicks in. We knew he was going to party hard after that.
I actually remember that we were in college, and I was in my bedroom doing something, like working on my computer, like on a fucking term paper or something. and you were out in the living room, and you kept going, Dev, and I was like, what? And you're like, get in here, and I was like, what, dude? I'm working on something. You're like, you got to see this.
And it was before the song.
It was like you knew from the second of the video that it was gonna fucking be awesome.
Oh, white high top Nikes, you know it's going down.
And then Party Hard kicked in, and we were like, all right, this is the fucking shit right now.
And I never heard his album front to back, but I think it's just so hilarious how it's like, party hard, fuck her hard, go to the store hard. You know,
yeah.
Everything he does.
Well, that's why it's like a gimmick thing, but it's a respectable gimmick thing because and the songs are good. I've listened to that album a few times. Good, like it's not my favorite album on the face of the planet, but if you just want to listen to like a good time kind of fucking hang out and party album, I mean, the guy made a fucking party album, you know.
Exactly.
And then the whole thing of like smashing the face with the blood coming down the nose and the dirty clothes and all this shit. Like
image or no image, that rocks.
I saw Andrew WK a few times. I saw him once with a full band. I saw him a few times.
I wish.
But the one time was this was back in this had to be 2010, 2011. There's a thing called Best Friends Day in Richmond, Virginia. Are you familiar with this?
No.
It's actually really cool. So there's a group of and forgive me if anybody from Richmond is listening to this, and I know that I'm getting this wrong, but this is my loose interpretation of it from what I gathered. But a long time ago, let's say a decade ago or something, a bunch of friends just started a day in Richmond, Virginia, and it was called Best Friends Day. And they would just do like shit. Like, you know, like they might have been in bands and had shows, but they definitely like just went to the park and like threw a party and all that stuff. And over time, it kind of like gained steam and gained steam and then became kind of like a festival thing. But not like a festival in the way that like a Lollapalooza or even a lower level of that. Just kind of a thing where it's known that today is Best Friends Day.
Was there music?
Well, well, I don't know in the beginning, but it became that. So now what happens with Best Friends Day, or at least like 5 years ago when I was there, was they book shows in all different clubs around the area of Richmond, Virginia. And there's not a lot. It's a small town, you know, it's a government town. And they book one big show at the end of the night. So after everybody's partying all day, like Saturday and everything, they go to this big show at the end of the night. And we went there. Me and a few of my friends went there because the headlining band was Propaganda, which is our favorite band on the face of the planet. So we traveled to Virginia to go see them. And the bill was the first band opening up was Richmond's own Municipal Waste, who, by the way, we know the drummer of. But have you ever heard Municipal Waste?
I never have, no.
They're fucking awesome.
Should I know the drummer or no?
It's it's Dave Whitty. Was it Dave Whitty? It's Brian Whitty's older brother.
Oh, Whitty?
Yeah. And they're just fucking just great thrash, like, you know, and they're from there. And then Andrew,
is it the same sound as Burnt by the Sun was?
No, it's thrashier and
it's
you know,
heavier.
Yeah. It's very cool if you want to listen to a very cool band. And then Andrew WK, and then Propaganda, right? So this is like already like before we even get there, this is fucking awesome. Then we show up in this place, and there's maybe, I don't know, 300 people there, 400 people there. Like it's not packed at all.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, during Andrew WK's set, we were like on people were just running off the stage or on stage or like. But here's the thing I wanted to say about Andrew WK is the last time I had seen him before that was in a bigger venue, and he came out with his band and he played all his shit. You know what I mean? This time he just showed up with a keyboard with like a workstation, and we were just like, oh man, this is gonna suck. Like he doesn't have a band. Like what's he gonna do? Just sing karaoke to his songs? And guess what? He sang karaoke to his songs, and it was fucking amazing. The dude literally just hit play on a keyboard, had the track to his songs blast through the PA, and just sang through a microphone, and everybody lost their fucking mind. It was awesome. Yeah, it was very cool. Awesome. It's one of the coolest shows I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Best Friend. I know that. I'm sure they're still doing it. There, I haven't been there since then, but you know, if there's a band that you like that's playing Best Friends Day, I would definitely recommend going there. And
I just think it's great how it was best friend's day and he decided to leave his band at home and play by himself.
Right. Well, they probably weren't paying that much. That's another thing. It's not like that's the very cool thing about it is it's not corporate sponsored or even very sponsored at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think, these dudes probably like just get some money up and pay some bands that are willing to come in, and
he parties that hard that he just needs himself. He needs, all he needs is Nikes and that's it.
My friend told me a story. Man, I don't know if I can even do the story justice, but something about being at Andrew WK's club, and his band was playing there, and they were all waiting for the bathroom or something like that, and
wonder why.
And there was somebody, yeah, right, and there was somebody
to party hard.
And there was somebody in there, and they said that Andrew WK just came walking in, and he's like, "Is somebody in there?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're all waiting." So they like waited, like in Andrew WK was just sitting there, and like it was like kind of awkward, like nobody was really talking, and everyone's just like kind of tapping their feet and like waiting for whoever's in the bathroom. And finally, Andrew WK, I guess he was like, "Well, this is my place. I'm going to see what's going on." And he like opened the door, and there was just nobody in the bath. Like they're all waiting. Have you ever done that before? Like you think you're waiting for somebody in the bathroom, but there's nobody in there. So they were all just waiting for this bathroom, and then Andrew WK came in and made it very awkward. And he was the one to discover that there was nobody in there, and kind of like just. I think that's the story. I think
waiting hard.
Yeah, exactly. What was his other song? There was Party Hard, and what was the other one? It was
Get Wet or something that. Yeah, I Get Wet was a goodie. There was a song about either a girl or sex or whatever that was really good. I forget what it was called, but it was either about a girl or sex or both.
I mean, normally, if you're talking about a girl, you're talking about sex, I suppose.
Unless he jerks off hard.
Probably. Whoa, man. So what are you being for Halloween?
I don't know.
Are you a Halloween dresser guy?
I always have been, if there's a place to go. I've had some goodies in my day. I think one of my best Halloween... This one never gets credit, but I think one of my best Halloween costumes of all time was the Kool-Aid guy. Even though I look nothing like the Kool-Aid guy.
I don't remember the Kool-Aid guy. When was that?
Well, I always find a costume where I have an excuse to carry around booze. Okay? And
makes sense.
Yeah.
Practical.
And
smart.
Also my Halloween costumes are always makeshift. So my makeshift
poor.
My makeshift Kool-Aid guy was a big red bubble jacket. I wore a white visor upside down to be my lid. You know what I mean? I painted my face to be, rosy, smiley Kool-Aid guy. And I carried around a giant pitcher, and I wrote in very good calligraphy Kool-Aid on it, so you get the idea. But it was a big giant red pitcher of, alcohol.
Yeah.
And, of course, whenever I would walk into a room, I'd say, "Oh yeah," just to add to the flavor.
Got it.
But still, I think people just thought I was a really poorly dressed person carrying around liquor.
I remember your Rowdy Roddy Piper was good a few years ago, or that might even have been a decade ago.
That wasn't too shabby. I think that was 2005. My Ghostbusters wasn't that bad. Before they came out with the... you could go buy the Ghostbusters costume, which mine was way better than the one you could buy in the store. But what I did was I carried around this Star Wars gun that shot pink silly string. So that would be my Ghostbusters.
Oh, like the slime, the slime in Ghostbusters. Yeah. Man, I just fucking read, and I'm not going to go into it because it'll get a fucking kind of boring. But the guy who played Vigo in Ghostbusters 2, the guy in the painting
is
or whatever.
Die Hard.
He's in Die Hard, yeah, but his fucking story. If you wanna read something interesting, go look this up on the internet. Apparently, this guy was like a fucking flaming asshole. He was like a boxer in Germany, like a semi-famous boxer in Germany, and his father was like really famous and like worked out with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And like there's like he has a sister, but his sister might actually be his daughter because he raped his father's girlfriend and all this shit. This nut. I read it the other day. Somebody that posted a link to it on Facebook, and I read about it, and I was like stunned by it. It's really interesting.
And what is he up to these days?
He's dead. He died in 2004. He was older. I mean, I think he died in his 60s, and that was like 10 years ago. He died of prostate cancer, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But apparently, he was just like a fucking
all that fucking.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, he was just like nobody liked him. Like even the dude from the producer of or whatever of Ghostbusters 2 in this article. Like I think he kind of commented. I don't want to say I don't know who it was, but somebody worked on Ghostbusters 2, and he was just like, he was just like a flaming asshole.
Yeah, he seems like a dick anyway.
Well, he's Vigo. I mean, Vigo was a fucking dick. You know,
he was a dick. The child.
And then out of all the bodies that you get to jump into at the end, you got to go into Dan Aykroyd. I would be like, God damn it, just put me back in the fucking painting.
Seriously, at least be fucking Venkman at all of them. Jesus.
So I would take
Egon?
No, Ernie
Zedmore?
Hudson. Yeah,
Zedmore.
a fucking strapping black man. You get some work done.
I guess so.
Not the dorky Jewish guy, not the fat guy, not the. I mean, I guess Bill Murray would be okay.
Venkman's a goodie.
That hairline though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was your best Halloween costume? I can't remember.
I think my best Halloween costume. Well, I don't know if I could rate it, but
you had a couple goodies.
I think my favorite one, because I did the most work on it, was the shower.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I was actually thinking about bringing that back. I was even thinking about bringing that back for tomorrow, but I was like, I don't have much income coming in right now, so I don't need to go buy some raw materials. And you know what I mean? So I'll tell you what I'm being, because it doesn't matter. No one's going to hear this until after tomorrow anyway.
What are you being?
I'm going to be Keith Hernandez.
Okay.
So I got, here's the thing. I don't have a lot of money.
Just dress like a Met.
I have a Mets jersey. I got a Mets hat. I went and bought a fake mustache. I'm going to throw some flour on the nose to make it look like I got Coke nose. Yeah. Smoke a butt. and then it's twofold, because the Mets will be playing in hopefully what isn't their last World Series game tomorrow night, but that way I root on my Mets. I'm kind of funny fucking costume, low budge, and life is good.
See, now that we're talking Halloween, I got two of mine that were actually faves. Do you remember when I was Little Nicky?
Yes, yeah, Little Nicky was good. Little Nicky was very good. I
saw a picture of it the other day, and I cut the wig myself to be Little Nicky, and that was a pretty good job I did on cutting the wig. But that was also an excuse to carry around liquor, because you know how he has to get in the flask, bro.
Yeah.
The flask, I carried it around because it was full of liquor. But then there was another one.
Was it peach schnapps?
There was...
it's delicious.
I had to be something stronger than that. But there was another one that was my fave that I just lost my train of thought. But let's see. If I run down the line super quick, I'm definitely going to think of it.
Oh, this will be interesting for listeners.
What was because Little Nicky?
Oh man, I need to get that drop.
Little Nicky was a fave, and damn, what was the other one?
I remember Rowdy. That was my favorite movie.
That was.
Weren't you another wrestler? Were you? Or no, Kevin was Earthquake.
Kevin, oh my god, bro.
No, Kevin's best. I don't think you were around
for Goldust.
Were you there for Goldust?
I wasn't there. I saw the pics. That was amazing,
unbelievable.
But I don't know. The Earthquake was hilarious. Quick story about that one was I was talking to him.
Earthquake, the wrestler, by the way.
When he was
he wasn't an actual Earthquake.
He looked exactly like him too. Kevin goes all out on his Halloween. But he was dressed as Earthquake, and I was talking to him. He's like, I'm going to go get a beer. And he walked away, and it looked like Earthquake walking away. It was hilarious. And when he came back, I was like, man, the way you did that fat ass, that was hilarious. He looked exactly like Earthquake. He goes, there's nothing in the ass. That's my ass. And I was like, oh, my bad, bro. But the Earthquake is great.
The one we're talking about, our friend Kevin, who he likes dressing up a lot for Halloween, and his main thing for Halloween that I realized there's a current between all of his Halloween costumes, and what that is he likes any excuse to get dressed up in tights. He just wants to wear tights. So he does wrestlers a lot because there's tights. He did Gumby one year so he could wear green tights. And one year he was a fucking duck or some sort of aquatic bird where he wore like white tights. And I don't know what his thing is, but he looks for excuses to wear tights, just like you look for excuses to have alcohol involved.
Yeah.
He looks for excuses to show off his bulge.
Damn, man, I can't think of the other one I used. That was one of my faves. But another one that I did as an excuse to carry around alcohol, because they always pop in there, was I was actually there's no excuse to carry on alcohol. I was Alex from Clockwork Orange.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was pretty good, but I couldn't find the right hat, so I ended up looking like Alex.
A bowler? What are they called? A bowler hat?
It was a bowler hat, but I couldn't find a bowler, and so I looked like Alex from Clockwork Orange mixed with like I don't know, not even a cowboy, just like turd wearing a stupid hat. So like no one really knew what I was.
Well, you did the eyelash thing on the one eye though,
eyelash,
and shit. And you had the cane and whatever.
But I couldn't wear the cup because, heavy drinking, you don't want to wear a cup, you know what I mean?
Well, they wore the cup on the outside though.
Even though, man, you still don't want to rock a cup all night.
No, I get it.
I really, really wish I could remember this costume because it was definitely a goodie.
The one that I remember that I did that I enjoyed, and it's going to sound a little hypocritical now because I was busting on Back to the Future the other day.
I knew you were going to say,
but I did.
That was a really good costume.
Yeah, I did. I did Doc Brown, looked good. I had the jumpsuit and the hair, and I carried around a Mr. Coffee with like green fucking glow sticks in it, like there was plutonium and shit like that.
That was a really good costume.
But the story behind that, we were at my apartment, and we were going to a bar, and it was me, my girlfriend at the time, and two of her friends, and we were drinking at the apartment. We were a little drunk, and we were getting in the car and we're driving to the bar. And my friend Tom's driving, and I was in the back seat. And he gets pulled over, and he's nervous because he'd been drinking. You know what I mean? So we're like, oh fuck, this is a shitty way to fucking to start the night. He actually, the cop gets Tom out of the car like he was about to make him walk the line.
Wait, what was Tom for Halloween?
Tom was Eddie Munster, which is, if you knew what Tom looks like, makes sense. He's got the widow peak and everything like that. Yeah. Mark was Superman. He was Clark Kent Superman. I remember that. And then my girlfriend at the time was the chick from the Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds, and she had like birds. Or whatever.
That was a great costume too. I remember that. Yeah.
So Tom's now drunk, pulled over. The cop's making him get out of the car, and Tom's like about to walk the line, and the cop has his flashlight, and he's flashing in the back of the car, and he looks at me, and he stops the flashlight at me, and I'm like, oh fuck, and he goes, you supposed to be Doc Brown from Back to the Future? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, get out of the car. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how am I going to get busted for this? And then he was like, get out of the car. And I get out, and he points at the fucking dashboard cam of the cop car. He was like, wave to that thing right there. So I was sitting there like an asshole, dressed like Doc, don't know what's going on, holding a Mr. Coffee maker of plutonium, and I'm fucking waving at the front of a cop car or whatever. And he's like, all right, you guys get back in the fucking car and go. So my Doc Brown costume got Tom out of a potential DWI that night.
He thought he was intimidating the Libyans.
So I thought, right, exactly.
I actually, I just remembered one of my favorite Halloween costumes. Had nothing to do with liquor though, but I remember one year an ex-girlfriend of mine, we dressed up like Clarence in Alabama from True Romance.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I remember that.
It was a goodie.
Movie Halloween costumes are always good.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? When you don't look like the guy, it kind of sucks, you know what I mean? Because...
Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't look anything like Keith Hernandez.
Yeah, but you throw the hat on.
That's when you just make like a you just make it like so cartoonish and over the top, and like that's the thing. Like I got a like really big fucking mustache. You know what I mean? Like,
that's hilarious.
I'll throw the Coke on the nose, so at least that kind of fucking thing.
But I mean, how cartoony can you get with Christian Slater? You know what I mean?
Well, you got the Elvis glasses and like the wingtip fucking shirt, and you know what I mean, and all that stuff.
Right, and I made my eye bloody after you got his butt kicked. You know what I mean? So that kind of covered it up a little bit.
Right.
I got the widow's peak like Christian Slater does, so that helped a little bit. You know what I mean? But I thought it was a good costume.
I also one year I went as the Blueberry, Michael Showalter's character from The State. I'm a fucking blueberry.
Yeah, it sucks because not a lot of people knew who that was, but if you knew what that was, you knew it was hilarious.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to please everybody else. I'm trying to please myself.
One year I went to see Social Distortion in Atlantic City, and it was on Halloween. So you had people dressing up, but the majority of the people didn't because you're going to a concert. But I was like, I'm going to a punk rock show. Let's dress up like punk rock, So I dressed up like Gigi Allin, and it was really good. It was the Gigi,
Did you do like all the jail tats and everything?
The what?
Did you like go shirtless with all the jail tats blazing?
No. I did the Gigi from the Geraldo show. So I had the the Scully with the hood with
I'm a burning bridge.
Yeah,
going down,
burning bridge. But I had the stash that started halfway across the lip and down. You know what I mean? I blacked out my teeth. I had the Avies on. I had the Scully with the hood up, with the choke around my neck. And everyone just thought I was just some weirdo walking around. And then I'm going up the escalator, and then one cat looks at me and goes, "Gigi Allin, you're the man." And that made my day, of course, because one cat knew who I was supposed to be.
You know what you should have done to make everybody know that you were Gigi Allin?
What, pissed on somebody?
Well, take a shit and start throwing your shit at everybody.
That's what I was going to say. I start tugging on my 1-inch dick.
Or just, yeah, talk about micro penises. Gigi Allin had a fucking micro penis.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he was so angry.
Probably.
Or started cutting your chest with a razor, screaming, "My skin's like paper.
My skin is like Piper.
My skin's like Piper." Oh, Gigi Allin.
Oh, man. The funniest thing about that Geraldo interview is when Geraldo's like, what's the name of some of your songs? And Gigi thinks for a second and he goes, "Well, we got one called I Love Nothing."
Gigi, we played with the Murder Junkies.
Mm-hmm. That's when Dino wanted to use my drum seat, Naked Dino.
Right.
I was like, "You use that drum seat, man, you're keeping it."
Right. Yeah, we played with the Murder Junkies. But we never, unfortunately, got to see Gigi. But here's the thing: like, I don't think I would have enjoyed if I went to go see Gigi Allin live. I don't think I would have enjoyed it. Like, no matter how like underground and punk rock I think I am or I was, let's say. Like, I think I still would have been uncomfortable at a Gigi Allin show. I would have been like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm not dealing with this. You
don't want to get
shit.
hit with a turd.
Because people always look back at stuff more like fondly than when it happened. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Like, Gigi Allin's Extreme, like, that was almost like just performance art. There wasn't very much musical about it, at least in the shows themselves, But even like the Ramones, like people like, you talk to people that say that they're in the city in the 70s and that they were at CBGB's every night or Max's Kansas City every night, and they saw the Ramones and like you make it seem like it was like this giant scene that like all these people were hip to and everything like that. But there wasn't. I've seen pictures of the Ramones playing CBGB's. There's like 5 fucking people there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like. I think people, number one, I think that people go back and say that there are places that they weren't a lot, which is fucking nuts.
Oh, of course.
But then number two, I think people like, you might say, "Oh man, I would love to go back to 1976 and go see the Ramones play at Max's Kansas City." But if you showed up there, you might be like, "Oh man, like I feel fucking weird here."
You're better off watching a local band that sucks because I don't think the Ramones were that good.
Well, I mean, they ended up being good.
You know what I mean?
I'm just talking about the atmosphere, like the punk rock thing. We're comfortable with that. We grew up playing in punk rock bands and playing in sleazy punk rock clubs and shit like that, But it was like a sleazy fucking deal, you know what I mean? Like you were dealing with fucking, drug addicts and like slime balls and like shit like that,
No doubt,
and like
no doubt.
Like, so a lot of these people who walk around wearing like Ramones shirts now and everything like that, who think that they might have been comfortable at a Ramones show back in the day. And I'm just using the Ramones as an example. You could plug in anything.
Well, that's a perfect example because people go to Target, buy Ramones shirts, and
it's disgusting.
All they've heard was "I want to be sedated," and they think it's a style. You know what I mean? They're not really Ramones fans. They just think it's cool.
Right, exactly. Well, and that goes for any old, any band for the most part.
Right.
I never get when I see people wearing a Beatles shirt. Like, I fucking love the Beatles. If you're any sort of a musician or any sort of a music lover, you have to like the Beatles. But when I see people wearing a Beatles shirt, I'm always like, why? It's like wearing a Coca-Cola shirt. You know what I mean? Like
they sell them at Target.
You're not like being like, yeah, of course you're. That's like wearing a shirt that says "I breathe oxygen." You know what I mean?
They sell Nirvana shirts at Target now, and even the awesome one. Like when Nirvana first came out, I always wanted that shirt that you had with
the smiley face.
The smiley face. I always wanted that.
Corporate rock horror.
Right.
Kitty petting, blah blah blah.
Yeah, kitty petting corporate rock horrors. Of course, they took the lettering, those words out, and it's just a smiley face with Nirvana. And I've always wanted that shirt, but I'd be damned if I'm buying that shirt from Target. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Some fucking Kurt Cobain would be rolling. He's rolling in his grave right now if he knew that was fucking happening.
Seriously.
Like, I'm sure that has to be a Courtney thing because I don't know, or Chris,
penny squeezer,
whatever. But yeah, I mean, coming from when we were coming up and Nirvana was like the band or whatever, to see that happening now, and I'm sure that people feel the same way as, you know, the Ramones obviously, and maybe Led Zeppelin, maybe the Rolling Stones, even though they do seem a little bit more corporate rock, but that's just because they've been corporate rock our whole life,
right? Like
that kind of thing. But it is like it is kind of a fucking weird thing when you see that, you know. Like
it's almost sad. It's almost sad.
But I think a band just sometimes just gets so big that you really don't even have any fucking control over it, you know?
And also there's other people that own the rights to that stuff, and they're like, you know, we're going to make some money off this stuff. And
well, here's a weird. Okay, so let's take Nirvana. You can't go into a Kohl's or something like that, or Target and see a Pearl Jam shirt.
Right.
But Pearl Jam was just as big as Nirvana was at the very same time, and they're still an active band. You know,
well, they would never give Cole the right to sell a Pearl Jam shirt,
right? And neither. They
don't even give Ticketmaster the right to sell their tickets.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I don't think Kurt Cobain would either. I mean, that's an obvious statement.
No, hell no.
So who in the question is, who in the Nirvana camp? I have a hard time believing. I don't know, but I have a hard time believing that Grohl would be a part of that.
No way. No way. I have a feeling it's Courtney. Because I don't know, but who got the rights to all his stuff? I believe it's Courtney, right?
Well, Courtney, yeah, she took over the.
Yeah. Do
you want to hear? We could wrap this episode up with my Courtney Love story. Have I ever told you this before?
No, I want to know.
Okay, so this is very fucking funny. I wasn't here, but I saw a video afterwards. For a while, I worked at a guitar store in Manhattan, and it was nighttime. It was the closing crew. I always worked during the day. I was never there at night, so I missed a lot of cool things. But I also got to be at home with my loved ones, enjoying life. And so it's now 9 or 10 o'clock at night, whenever this store was closing. And Courtney Love shows up with like a younger kind of dude, like a kind of attractive, like a Hispanic kind of guy. And she's knocking on the door. The door's already locked, and she's knocking on the door. And she's like, "I just want to come in. I just want to buy my friend a guitar. You know, we're just gonna get out of here." So everybody's like, "Okay, you know, it's Courtney Love. Yeah. Let's let her in." So they let Courtney in, and her friend, her little man toy friend, are playing around on the up for guitars, and and everybody who was there tells me that she's just looped out of her fucking mind.
Of course.
She's just acting like a maniac. She's going up and talking to people and acting weird and all this shit. Now at this guitar store, they had concerts always playing on the television. They had a couple televisions around, and they always had concerts on. The concert that they happened to be playing that week happened to be a Foo Fighters concert, right? So she's like fucking around, and then she slowly realizes that the Foo Fighters are playing on TV, and she loses her mind, right? So she starts screaming like, "That motherfucker takes food out of my daughter's fucking mouth!"
God.
Like pointing at Dave Grohl and the fucking thing, freaking out. Then fucking is now down on the floor, right? And is pounding on the floor, screaming like, "Why you motherfuckers doing this to me? You put this on the video just to fucking do this to me? How could you fucking do this? This guy takes fucking food out of my daughter's mouth." The video that I saw,
it's like, no, bitch, the heroine's taking the food out of your daughter's mouth.
Right. Number one, no one's taking food out of your daughter's mouth. You fucking, she has the Kurt Cobain inheritance.
Right.
But the video that I saw is Courtney Love on the counter, like where the registers are and everything, slamming her fucking, screaming. Now, here's the best part though. So they're like, nobody knows what to do. Everyone's like kind of like laughing, but at the same time being like, "Oh man, Courtney Love's throwing a fucking hissy fit in her store. Her fucking little boy toy's like picking out an expensive guitar or whatever." So she's like, "All right, I'm sorry." And I guess one of the managers went and shut the video off. And she's like, I'm sorry. I just got to go outside and smoke a cigarette, and then we'll come back in and we'll buy the guitar and we'll be out of here." And they're like, "All right, fine." So they let her outside onto the streets of Manhattan, and she's outside smoking a cigarette, like collecting her calm or whatever. Now, this store also had in-house music that they would play, you know. So they actually had a radio station. It was a corporate store. They had a radio station that they would just play music or whatever. So she comes back in. Now the video's off. She comes back in. She smoked her cigarette. She's calm. Her boy toy has picked out a guitar, and she's actually talking fucking calmly and saying like, "Listen, I'm sorry for that. You know what I mean? It's a raw subject for me. I don't like seeing that guy's face and all this stuff, right?" While she's saying that, over the fucking speakers comes on In Bloom from Nirvana, right? And then she fucking loses her mind again. She's like, "Why are you doing this to me?" And starts freaking out and pounding the fucking thing
I hope
again.
someone popped that on purpose.
No, that's the funny part about it, is that there was no way to control that. That music actually got pumped in from corporate.
Man.
So it just was like the greatest coincidence of all time.
Oh, that is sweet.
I don't think I have the video anymore. A buddy of mine who worked there at the time, he recorded it on his cell phone and then sent it.
That's got to be pure jealousy, because Dave Grohl's got to be one of the most talented musicians out there right now. To go from the drummer of Nirvana to the lead man of Foo Fighters, like, good for you, Dave Grohl.
When number one, I didn't realize that the Foo Fighters were around. He started the Foo Fighters so quickly after Nirvana was over,
right,
that like sometimes I feel like the Foo Fighters are still a semi fucking new band, but they're like already almost eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They've been around for like 20
Since
years.
94, man.
Yeah, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And then when you look back at, if you were to watch like Live and Loud, which if nobody knows was no, Live and Loud was the New Year's Eve thing, right?
Yeah, 93 to 94.
But they did the documentary,
Yeah.
tour documentary. If you were to watch the footage of that and see Dave Grohl, it doesn't even look like the same fucking person. He was
a kid.
So fucking young when he was playing drums in that band.
I think he was still a teen, right? Or at least 20.
He had to be early 20.
Yeah, early 20. But, dude, that's the video right there that made me a drummer. That's it. That's the video that taught me the drums.
The New Year's Eve one.
Right.
Yeah.
Just pop that baby in and just copied his motions. Because when I saw him play those drums, I said, that's exactly what I want to do.
You got to give the guy credit, man. And everybody fucking loves him. And he only gets more and more beloved as time goes on, you know? And,
right.
And I think it does all, like I normally try to see through that shit. Like, if there's somebody that the whole country loves, like, I right away am like, all right, should I like this guy, or is he just, like, pulling the wool over everybody's eyes? But as far as I could tell with Dave Grohl, man, he just seems like a genuine-ass dude.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that everybody likes him so much is that, and whether you like his music or not, I don't like every Foo Fighters songs. I like, some of them are cool, some of them aren't, you know?
Especially that first CD is kind of on and off.
Well, to be honest, the Foo Fighters are nowhere near a favorite band of mine. You know what I mean?
But they write some sweet tunes, man.
Yeah, no, some of them are good. You know, I wouldn't put them in. They don't mean as much to me as Nirvana does.
Oh, hell
you
no,
know?
hell no.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he just, you know, he's willing to hang out with the funny guys. He's willing to do like the Tenacious D thing.
Yeah,
he's willing to like have beers with his fucking fans, you know, and all that shit. So I don't know.
He's a great guy. I love Dave Grohl.
I do too.
He's my inspiration. You know what I mean?
He's still your drumming after. Okay, so Dave Grohl started you on drums. Who would you say after that? If you're to take Dave Grohl out, who's your second guy that made you a drummer?
I moved on to Trey Cool. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Dave Grohl taught me how to hit the shit out of those things, and Trey Cool taught me showmanship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like, Dave Grohl taught me how to break my cymbals every 2 shows.
Which you're always good at.
Yeah, thank you.
I remember one time you hit your cymbal so hard that the cymbal stand broke.
Yeah,
but not at a joint, not at a screwed in joint. Like the metal of the fucking the metal arm cracked in half, as if you were to take like a fucking lightsaber and just like or like a welder and like slice through it. Like
that
it
was like
hot.
my goal, man. That was my goal.
Was to break a boom stand.
Well, not to break the boom stand, but just to hit those things, man. And whenever I see a drummer tap a it kills me. Unless, of course, they got skills beyond skills.
Right.
But if you're just playing the drums and you're barely hitting those things, it's like, come on, hit them.
Yeah.
But I just love smashing, because Dave Grohl played with his drumsticks backwards, believe it or not.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
He would hit with the handle part. So, I mean, I wouldn't do that. That's a little extreme. But, you know, you got to
don't they make, and this isn't interesting at all, but don't they make drumsticks
with no tip
that are just like a giant fucking, yeah, right.
Yes,
so it's like
do.
this H side is the same thing.
Yeah, yes they do. But you know what I mean? Like, he taught me to hit those things, and that's what I do. And then, I learned my showmanship from Trey Cool because he's hilarious. I mean, I wouldn't take it quite to his level because he's pretty much like, he's a comedian on the drums. I mean, don't get me wrong. The man's got perfect metronome timing. You know what I mean? But
yeah, you think? I don't know.
Trey Cool?
Yeah.
Take a listen. The man's got perfect timing.
Okay, I believe it.
Yeah. And, plus his showmanship's hilarious. He's fun to watch, so.
Well, that was part of Green Day, especially when they were coming up. That was like kind of as part of their allure was like he was like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Like there was that whole story before like when they were still touring around or like on Gilman Street in the Bookmobile or when he slept with the dogs and drank the dog milk in the morning. Yeah. And he was and I remember like he was like always into gangster rap music. That was like a big thing.
Yeah, he was. He was. Well, that helps. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to get on the topic of us, but you know what I mean? If you pop in, some of our music, you'll hear some hip hop beats.
Oh, I love hip hop. Yeah. After punk rock music, hip hop music is definitely my favorite music.
Believe it or not, you pop in Sound Waves and Sunsets, check out track 2.
Okay, Sound Waves and Sunsets was our one of our band's albums.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. What is track 2?
The Waiting Dance.
Oh, I wrote that song.
Yep.
Is there hip hop in there?
Just check out the verses. That's to me personally, it's a hip hop beat.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know
like
what I mean?
the tempo and everything.
The tempo, even the hits, the bass drum.
I always hate when fucking like again. I worked for a long time selling guitars, high-end guitars and stuff like that. So you dealt with like a lot of like these older business guys who are wealthy now and they like play guitar for sport, but they're not very good at it. And they're all Eric Clapton fans and Led Zeppelin fans and all that, which is fine. I'm not saying anything bad about that. Mm-hmm. But I can't tell you how many times working in that business, I've heard people be like, oh man. And they think that I'm going to agree because I'm a guitar player who's explaining to them these vintage instruments and stuff like that. And they're just like, oh, I can't stand that fucking rap shit is so fucking horrible. And I'm always like, well then
they don't get it.
Then you're not like, how could you call yourself a music fan?
They don't get it.
And not like hip hop.
I mean, they might be referring to what's on the radio today because, like me, I'm
not even talking 10 years ago when hip hop was still okay.
Right. Like I love hip hop. I love rap. I can't listen to what's going on right now. I'm more of a 90s.
Yeah, well, that's also our age. I mean, whether you want to fight it or not, like it does happen to everybody. There's very few people in this world who could just keep up with the new music way throughout their whole life, and there are some people that do that. But for the most part, you're gonna revert back to your glory time, which is normally right around the time like high school, early college, and stuff like that. But I agree with you. I think that '90s hip hop and early 2000s hip hop is worlds above what's going on right now.
I wouldn't. It's not like I don't give it a try. I give it a try.
But we also might not understand it because we're not in that demographic anymore. That music isn't made for us anymore. You know what I mean? Like Tribe Called Quest and Public Enemy and all the bands that I love, they were made specifically for us. That was for our age group and our generation.
Right.
So of course we're gonna fall back on that.
And not only that, but I also feel that that early 90s to mid 90s hip hop, a lot of their beats, they use actual instruments.
Well, that's all. Yeah, right.
I can't find a real instrument in any rap song now. It's, the buttons, the computers, But if you listen to the Wu-Tang Clan, if you listen to the Notorious B.I.G., you hear piano, you hear guitar, you hear bass.
It's more musical, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Speaking of fucking fly hip-hop songs.
That's right.
Actually, this is probably more R&B, I'd say. I
guess. But man, am I tickling those ivories.
Yeah, I didn't know that you played keyboard. So you did everything in the song except...
that's a drum machine. You know what I mean? But
yeah, right. Yeah.
I wrote that song on piano probably months before I wrote these lyrics. And then, I wrote this on piano, and then I wrote the lyrics, and we made it a tune.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Awkward High Five Podcast. You could go to awkwardhighfivepodcast@gmail.com if you want to drop us an email. And also, if you want to give us a phone call, which nobody has besides our initial suck a bag of dicks call. But
we're still working on that too.
Yeah, and people are just starting to hear this right now. But hopefully people call because we want to talk to you, or at least talk about your subject. And it's 607-319-A-high-5. That's 607-319-AHI-5 if you want to leave us a message. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Get more pain, less wanna smoke you up. Inhale my best and I'm out of love. With love, with breath, wanna smoke you up. Even though my chest hurts, smoke you up. Get more pain, less wanna smoke you up.
Thanks for listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. For more episodes, visit awkwardhighfive.com.